A new beginning. You've been here for 10 days and are going home to an entirely different situation. Your meditation has markedly improved and also your understanding of the Buddha's teaching. When you get home, you might think that the people at home have changed. All of a sudden they don't seem to understand what you are saying. They're concerned with things that don't seem very important. You can be sure it's not they who have changed, it's you.
When you get to town and watch people and traffic, the thought might occur to you, what's everybody rushing for? Where are they all going? What's the hurry? You stand still, look and think, I can't understand what the hurry is all about. In about 3 weeks or 3 months, depending on your practice, it may all look completely normal to you again. That's what everybody does, and that means that you're doing it too. That will be a sure indication that your practice has lapsed, your introspection has gone, and you need to go to another retreat.
So what to do about all this? Meditate 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour at night, which is a general recipe. If you can spend more time in meditation, so much the better. In practical terms, you can do several things. You have a place in your house where you sleep, eat, cook, and bathe. Designate a place for meditation and don't change it. You don't change your dining area and you don't move your bedroom. Likewise, keep a meditation corner big enough to accommodate you and a pillow. Put a pillow or a mat there to sit on and leave it there. If you have to search for it, there is already distraction. You might like to have a Buddha statue or some flowers or a picture in your corner to give it the appropriate aspect. Just as a dining room has a table and chairs, and your kitchen has a stove, so your meditation corner has a pillow and possibly a shrine, or just flowers or a candle.
Go to your corner to meditate every day at exactly the same time and take a clock with you, one that doesn't tick, and has an alarm. Set the alarm for 1 hour because if you don't, you're going to sit there meditating and you'll think, well, that's at least an hour now. When you get up and go to the kitchen, you find it's only 10 minutes, and once you're up and in the kitchen, you're not going to go back. Nobody does that. So have an alarm. And even when you think, that must be an hour, you know it can't be, because the alarm hasn't rung yet. Just as you know here when the little bell hasn't rung yet, that the time isn't up. Even though you'd like to get up, everybody else is sitting, so you sit too. Eventually the meditation comes together.
We need all the help we can get. We're always looking for the easy way out. Everybody is. Be aware of the easy way out. Nobody would have sat here as often and as long as we did if we hadn't all sat here together. It's very helpful to have a group of meditators even if only 2 friends come together. 2 make a group. If they don't know how to meditate, tell them about loving-kindness meditation and watching the breath, and then sit together.
However, don't try to convince anybody in your family that they must practice too. That's the sure way of turning them off. Just say, I like it. I'm going to do it, that's enough. Who can argue about that? And, I'm going to get up an hour earlier, great. You get up nicely, quietly, not waking anybody up because you don't want them running around talking, and you sit in the corner and you do your meditation. What could be simpler than that? In the evening, come to your corner whatever time you can. Wait until the television has been turned off for the evening.
We are habit-prone in our mind. When we were small, our mothers used to tell us, go and clean your teeth, and we used to say, I don't want to, or, I did already, or, why should I, or, I'll do it later, but she kept insisting, go and clean your teeth. Eventually we did go, and year after year she kept insisting, until today we're still cleaning our teeth. Here you have to be your own mother. When the mind says, I don't want to, or, I'll do that meditation later, or, what could one day matter, or, I'll do it tomorrow, or, it's too strenuous. My knees hurt, don't listen, say, go. Go and sit. It's the only thing that's really worthwhile doing.
When we were small, we didn't know why we had to clean our teeth. Mother kept saying they're all going to fall out, but we didn't know what that meant. How can teeth fall out, we thought. But now we're being told, if you don't meditate, you're not going to have a mind that can actually function properly. Well, maybe we don't really know how a mind cannot function properly. Just tell yourself like a mother, this is good for you. Go on, do it, you have to look after your mind. If you don't, it will not look after you. This habit is beneficial and wholesome, and constitutes the path of purity. Our habitual thinking forms our character and directs us into spiritual endeavors and pathways.
If we don't use each day for anything other than trying to stay alive and entertaining ourselves, it's a waste of time. Certainly we have to stay alive, otherwise we can't meditate, but that need not take our full attention and priority. We have to add the ingredient of mindfulness and practice it all the waking hours of the day. Whatever we do, cooking, cleaning, shopping, or walking, can be a lesson in mindfulness. When washing dishes, don't think what to do next when this boring task is done, but keep the mind totally together with the physical action. When cleaning floors, don't think how to get out of doing it, but be attentive to each movement. That's mindfulness.
All negative thoughts are degenerating for the mind. Just as the body degenerates from wear and tear, so does the mind. It becomes a less wholesome mind with every unskillful thought. Whenever there is, I don't like it. I don't want it. I want to get out of it. I hate it. I'm jealous. I'm proud of it. In the mind, we become a weaker person, having lost our mindfulness and clear comprehension once more. Mindfulness can be directed to our physical actions, to our feelings, to our thoughts, or to the contents of the thoughts, whichever one of the four is appropriate at the moment. When there's a feeling of sadness, for example, direct attention to that feeling with the realization that it will not bring any kind of benefit to anyone. We learn to either substitute it or drop it. When there is thinking going on, being fully aware that there is a thought process, and then knowing the content. This means knowing whether the thought process is wholesome or unwholesome.
This too becomes habit, and prevents us from blaming others. It cleans the cobwebs out of the thought processes and makes them clear. We know what is going on inside ourselves and around us, internally and externally. It's at least a 15-hour-a-day job, depending on how long one sleeps at night. Unless this job is done during all or most of one's waking hours, one cannot hope to meditate successfully. Unless one meditates, one cannot hope to achieve mindfulness. The two are totally interdependent. Meditation has to be pursued whether one considers it successful or not. It's a matter of patience, endurance, determination, and perseverance. One just has to sit and do it.
During your 10 days here, you've had an excellent opportunity to sit and do it, and that has brought results. At home, where there's much less time for meditation, the results may not be the same, nor may they improve. Concentration is a fragile achievement. It needs to be nurtured and cared for the way it deserves. Real concentration is a jewel that very few people in this world get to know. They may read or hear about it, but that doesn't give them the benefit of it. It's meaningless unless one experiences it, and this
rare achievement needs to be treated with the reverence it deserves, namely, constant application to keep it going. Concentrated meditation will also facilitate mindfulness during the day. For anyone who hasn't attained the advanced stage, known as stream entry, about half of what arises in the mind is unwholesome. When one becomes aware of this, then one can drop it because one has learned to do that in meditation.
We need to be wary of fuzzy, unaware living. The miracle of being awake is not the opposite of being asleep. It's the opposite of being unaware. Many of us have no understanding of what we're doing, thinking, or feeling. We are taking the easy way out, being half asleep. This is an escape from suffering. Knowing suffering means knowing the truth, the first noble truth of Lord Buddha. Anyone who wants to get rid of suffering must first inquire into it. Knowing suffering and not trying to escape would be foolish. There is no escape route externally or through non-attention or non-awareness. The only escape is through insight, which brings total clarity. Every other escape route is blocked.
Once a week, meditate together with some friends. It boosts the individual effort. Group energy has a certain momentum. What makes life difficult for us are our defilements, the 5 hindrances. The one antidote that is the same for all 5 is noble friends and noble conversation. Don't fall in with any conversation. You wouldn't eat anything that might be poisonous. Likewise, don't take anything into your mind that might be harmful, such as gossip, idle chatter, or slander, what the media usually hand out, cheap novels, talking for talking's sake. It will poison the mind and take you in the wrong direction.
Another way of being imbued with Dhamma is seeing every situation, every experience, be it ever so small and insignificant, in the way of Dhamma. When you see a bush with beautiful flowers and there are also a number of dead flowers on the same bush, the mind should revert to birth, decay, disease, and death. Or you may see birds building a nest, and being very careful, taking so many pains to make it snug and comfortable. In the next tree there may be an abandoned nest. Constant flux and flow. Nothing permanent. There's my nest, my house. So much money, energy, time is expended on this nest. One day it will be empty and abandoned by me.
Everything around you externally can be seen in the way of Dhamma, having no solidity, no stability, no core essence, and therefore always being unsatisfactory. That does not create morbidity or sadness. On the contrary, it alleviates grief and pain by taking the heaviness out of all that happens. It creates a lessening of desire because one sees that the gratification of the desire will not bring fulfillment, since all this is changing anyway. The real Dhamma lives in the heart. It can't live in temples, robes, or Bodhi trees. There is only one place Dhamma can live. Those who have taken the Dhamma to heart and are practicing, they are the temples of the Dhamma. The temples are made from brick and plaster. The Bodhi tree cannot live as an example, it's a symbol and so is a statue. We need symbols, because we're constantly forgetting. They are reminders. But the real Dhamma has to be in the heart where it can come to life.
The Buddha said, "Whoever sees me, sees Dhamma." Whoever sees Dhamma, sees me. At this time in the history of humanity, we have no chance of seeing a live Buddha, but it's not necessary because, whoever sees Dhamma, sees me. If you can see the Dhamma in your own heart, you can see the Buddha. Buddha means nothing but enlightenment. It means the awakened one. Once you see Dhamma in your own heart, that is what you will see and that is what you want, isn't it? Seeing the live Buddha. He is as near to you as your own heart. He couldn't be any nearer. You don't have to go anywhere to find him. You don't have to do anything special to find it. You just have to be mindful and change the unwholesome to the wholesome. Isn't that simple? But because it is so simple, it doesn't mean that it is easy. It's hard work, but it's the kind of work that brings the greatest profit. There is nothing to compare with it. You have all the necessary tools. They are all yours. Now you must use them.